Planning for most humans is an exercise in wishful thinking. They conflate desires with outcomes. Real strategy, the kind that reshapes circumstances to your will, demands a step-by-step dissection of the process. That well-loved bastion of order, the spreadsheet's paradise. Think about it. We pour hours into laying out these intricate timetables, these Gantt charts like spiderwebs of optimistic intentions. Step A leads to step B, then C, and voila, profit. Or world peace, or whatever lofty goal tickles our fancy. But we all know how that works out, don't we? The tempo, folks, the tempo's all wrong. The world, it keeps changing tempo like a jazz drummer gone rogue. Our little brains stuck on quarter notes while reality's out there improvising free-form chaos. One rogue virus, one miscalculated competitor, one tweet from a billionaire with too much time on his hands. Poof. Your beautiful plan becomes origami for the trash bin. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a certain comfort in the illusion of control. And sometimes, sure, the stars align and the plan actually works. But that just makes us double down on this whole planning fetish, doesn't it? We forget that those wins were mostly luck with a side of blind momentum. See, we get addicted to planning, not realizing it gives us the wrong answers to the right questions. We should be asking, what narratives are shaping my reality, and how do I change them? Instead, we're obsessed with timetables and milestones. It's like trying to win a dance contest by practicing your robot moves in the mirror. Let's say your goal is to undermine a rival in the workplace. First, you don't focus on their downfall. That's the end result. You focus on understanding their strengths. They are meticulous, admired by higher-ups. Excellent. That predictability is a weakness waiting to be exploited. Study their patterns. What kind of projects do they gravitate towards? Where do they leave subtle openings for error? Once you map those out, you plant the seeds of their destruction. A delayed piece of information, a miscommunication that causes their project to stumble. Not a major failure, mind you, but enough to raise an eyebrow, a flicker of doubt about their competence. The beauty lies in making your actions seem benign, even helpful. Offer to proofread their report, subtly introducing typos that will go unnoticed by them, but glaringly obvious to their superiors. Suggest, ever so casually, that there might be a more efficient way to do a task, knowing full well it will lead to a minor but embarrassing oversight on their part. As their reputation erodes, bit by tiny bit, you simultaneously build yours. Volunteer for the task they've fumbled, exceed expectations, offer helpful insights. Position yourself as the reliable one. But this too is a performance. Calculated helpfulness is often more deceptive than outright hostility. They become paranoid, their focus scattered. They sense an enemy but can't pinpoint the source. That's when you play the concerned colleague. Offer sympathy disguised as advice, subtly nudging them toward further self-sabotaging decisions. Notice, I haven't plotted a single grand scheme. Instead, it's an accumulation of small, precisely targeted actions. Their undoing becomes a death by 1,000 cuts, and they'll likely blame themselves for most of it. This method works on a grander scale too. You want to destabilize a community? Target those looked upon as pillars of trust. Subtly spread rumors that sow seeds of doubt about their integrity. Fund a controversial project under the guise of supporting the community, knowing it will cause infighting and chaos. Humans crave order, crave easy answers. Provide them a narrative, an enemy to blame, and they will tear themselves apart to find relief from the uncertainty you have engineered. These are but simple examples. Master this kind of strategic thinking, this meticulous execution, and anything, or anyone, becomes a piece on your chessboard. The real game? It's about optionality, flexibility. You don't map out the choreography, you study the floor, the other dancers, the rhythm section. You cultivate instincts for when to jump, when to sway, when to lead, and when to follow. And maybe, just maybe, you end the night with the crowd on its feet, not because you planned for applause, but because you were part of creating something beautiful, unplanned and unrepeatable. Plans are useful sometimes, but they ain't gospel. Let them be pencil sketches, not blueprints cast in concrete. And for goodness sake, stop making your sociopathic bosses rigid targets the centerpiece of your mental universe. The clueless and the losers, they get locked into the spreadsheets. The ones who dance to a different drum beat, they're the ones who end up changing the music.